So good morning, everyone. Ayubowan, and welcome to our live FemTrip webinar today. I'm very excited to have the team of the fabulous Getaway with us today, which I also would like to introduce to you now. We once have Chamith Perera, our team leader Europe. Hello, Chamith.
Hi.
Then we have Mevanta da Silva, our manager for sales and market development. Hello, Mevanta.
Hi there. Hi, hello.
Then we also have Dilanke with us, Dilanke Panagoda, who is the head of business development for Pepper Life Experiences. Hi, Dilanke.
Hi.
And we also have a little surprise guest, Chirat da Silva. Hello, good morning.
Hello, hi, Boan. Good morning.
And also Uli is here with us today, helping us on the technical support in the background. Thank you so much.
Hallo und schönen guten Tag, guten Morgen.
Yes, so we are very happy to have all of you joining today. And yeah, I would say let's get started. I just quickly explain what we are going to show you today. We are starting with Chamith, who will give us an update on the current travel guidelines for Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka is not on the risk list either for Germany nor for Switzerland, which is amazing. So there's no quarantine when you come back from Sri Lanka, which is great. And also the country is open and ready to travel for everyone. And yeah, Chamith will explain a little bit more about the regulations. Then we will hand over to Mevanta, who will explain a little bit more about TFG in general. And then we will have Dilanke telling us something more in detail about the TFG experiences and our Intrepid Journeys. And then we have a little surprise for you with Chirat, who will show us around a very special place. So during the webinar, of course, you all have the opportunity to ask questions with the F&A button on the bottom of your screen. So you're more than welcome to ask everything you always wanted to know about Sri Lanka, TFG, the fabulous Getaway, our amazing DMC partners here. And yeah, so let us know whatever you wanted to know, and we will answer all the questions at the end of the webinar. All right, so let's get started, and I will hand over to Chamith.
Thanks, Katrina. Thanks for the very kind introduction. So first of all, let me welcome you all on behalf of the fabulous Getaway. So we're gonna be talking about, I'm going to be talking about the travel guidelines. Before I go into that, I'm going to be saying, so we're going to use the acronym TFG which is short for the fabulous Getaway. So don't worry if you hear that a lot. My fellow presenters will also do the same thing we are so used to it. So we are going to use the acronym TFG. So before I share any my presentation, I'm just going to talk about, I'm sure that most of you all have, when a client comes and ask whether what has happened in Sri Lanka, what's the situation in Sri Lanka. So before I go to the guidelines, I would give you, let me give you a small snippet on what has happened up until now for the last 3 months. So the Sri Lankan borders were open in last January, late January, and up for the 3-4 month period, we've had about 10,000 clients coming into the country. Yeah, so that is really unbelievable numbers, especially when you take the other open destinations are being Maldives and Dubai, where you don't get to travel around the country a lot, where you stay at one place for the significant time of your tour, when that type of countries are open, where Sri Lanka has provided much more round tours where the clients can travel around, the beach, the hill countries, the heritage sites. So when that has happened, it's really significant to see that given the circumstances, we were able to provide those tours. About 10,000 clients were able to come down to Sri Lanka. So one thing significant about we were successful having around this much of client to Sri Lanka was the unique travel bio bubble concept. So this bio bubble concept has been well recognized by around the world, by the travel fraternity around the world. It has been well recognized. The most recent recognition actually came from ITB Berlin. I think most of you all took part in that as well. So that is really significant to see for us. So let me give you a small brief on the travel bubble, just to make sure that everybody on the same track. So this travel bubble is very easy to understand. Actually, whenever a client goes to a destination, they should stay around 14 days quarantine inside the hotel or even inside the hotel room. So what we did was we added a bit of color to the quarantine word. Actually, what we did was we made sure that we allow the clients to travel around the country, and we make sure that the bubble goes with them. So whenever they go around hotels, we gave them around 50 hotels at the beginning. Right now, we have about 180 hotels called level 1 safe and secure hotels. So what we did was we made sure that all these hotels stay in the travel bubble. So even the clients go around the hotels, it doesn't matter. They don't have any connection with any outside local community or any outsider from the bubble. Not just going around hotels, we made sure that they have some sites to visit as well. So there are about 17 approved sites available for this bubble, and within those sites we have the national parks, we have the heritage sites, we have the cultural sites available. So it's not just about traveling around the country, staying at leisurely at hotels. They can visit the sites as well. So whomever goes in and out of the bubble, like the drivers, the hotel staff, any other service provider, all of them will undergo one PCR test before they come into the bubble, and also when they go out of the bubble, making sure that the local community doesn't get affected by the incoming travelers, nor the travelers get affected by the local community. So there are like a very well planned set of regulations which we all have acquired, and we all are following. And TFGs, I'm very proud to say that TFG is one of the first companies, DMCs in the country to acquire the safe and secure certificate. So actually, out of the 10,000 clients, we also managed to get some of the clients and to experience with them. So it was very interesting. Myself had a couple of clients from Germany, so it was very exciting and a bit more challenging as well. But at the end of the day, to see them having a nice tour, going around the country and enjoying the tour, given the circumstances, was really, really great, really good to see that that they are happy about the tours. So let me tell you now, I'm going to share my screen. Let me tell you now how, when we are going forward, what are the new guidelines we have. So we still have the bio bubble concept when the clients are traveling, but the good news is that, so given the vaccination drives going on around the world, the government and the SLT, the Sri Lankan Tourist Board, has come up with a plan where we give a bit more freedom to the clients who are already vaccinated. So if you can see, if the client is fully vaccinated, and to be fully vaccinated, the client has to have the recommended number of doses. So there are some vaccination where you only have to have 1 dose, and some are 2 or 3. So the client has to have the recommended number of dosage, and also that client can only travel after minimum 14 days. They are fully vaccinated. They cannot just do the vaccination today and complete the vaccination today and travel tomorrow. They have to stay minimum 14 days before they come down to Sri Lanka. So, and another thing that before I go into this, that they should have to something to note is that they should carry the vaccination certificate in English language, not in any other language. So that is something which is mandatory and compulsory. So if you can see my screen here, you can see that if the clients are vaccinated, it's pretty simple. They just have to stay in the bio bubble just for 1 day. That is actually 1 night, 2 days, because it takes about 24 hours, 24 to 36 hours to get a PCR result. So they only have to present a negative result before they come in. That should be valid for around minimum 72 hours. And they give the negative PCR test before they arrive, and they go into the level 1 hotel. They do another PCR. If that is negative, after the results are out, after 24 to 36 hours, they can pretty much go out of the bubble and do whatever they want. So they can around the country, they can mingle with the local community. The only thing they cannot do is they cannot come back to a level 1 safe and secure hotel, because as I said, the level 1 hotels are only accommodating clients who are in the bio bubble. So we don't want to mix them up. That's why the travelers who are going out of the bubble cannot come back into the level 1 hotels. So that is pretty simple about the vaccinated clients. For non-vaccinated clients, there are 2 criteria, like a client who is traveling more than 14 nights, a client who is traveling less than 14 days. So let's take the first scenario where if a client is traveling less than 14 days, then the client will undergo a PCR on arrival, and then they will stay at level 1 hotels. They can visit the sites and they can do the available activities and sites. But what they will do is, before they exit the country, they would have to undergo another PCR. But this is only if the client is traveling more than 5 days. If the client is traveling below 5 days, that is around 4 nights or 3 nights, 2 nights, then they don't have to do 2 PCRs. Just the arrival PCR is enough. So they will, if they're going more than 5 days to up until 14 days, then they have to do an exit PCR before they depart from the country. And for travelers who are traveling more than 14 days, then they will do the PCR on arrival. They can also go around the country within the level 1 hotels. They can visit the sites, but they will do an exit PCR around between 11 to the 13 days. So this PCR will be done for them to go out of the bubble, similar to the vaccinated client did on day 1. So once they do this PCR, if it is negative, they can simply go out of the bubble and do anything they want, visit anywhere they want. But the only fact again is that they cannot come back to the level 1 hotels, because level 1 hotels are only for the people who are in the bubble, who are in that quarantine state of the tour, the 14-day quarantine state. So that's pretty much it with the new regulations. Regarding children, children below 12 years, they don't have to undergo any PCR unless if their parents and the accompanying adults are vaccinated. So if they're going for the vaccinated option, then the first PCR which the clients are doing, even the children has to undergo that, because they are going out of the bubble. And the other scenario where the children has to undergo PCR test is if a non-vaccinated clients, if the children are coming with the non-vaccinated clients, when they are going out of the bubble after 14 days, then again the children has to undergo a PCR test. Those are the 2 scenarios where the children has to undergo PCR test. Other than that, they don't require any PCR test even before they come down to Sri Lanka. So that's about it from me regarding the travel regulations. Hope everybody understood it. If not, please leave a comment. So we are going to have a Q&A session after the webinar, which will be done by Katharina. So I will be happy to answer any question. If not, feel free to contact us anytime. We'll be able to give you all the information you need, share all the documents, and whatever you need, we'll be able to share with you. So let's go to the next segment, which is a very interesting segment actually we have planned for you. So my colleague Mevanta will do that. Mevanta, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Chamith. Thanks for taking us through all of that. We have a couple of questions that came in. We will definitely deal with them at the end. So thank you for sending in your questions. There is no bad questions, so feel free to ask any questions. So I'm going to now share my screen. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take you through a small journey about the fabulous Getaway. Chamith pointed out that we get caught and we tend to use the acronym TFG. So again, the fabulous Getaway is TFG, and just to kind of reiterate that point. So just to start off where we are, I thought we'd just first kind of capture a little bit about Sri Lanka. I'm sure some of you are already aware about Sri Lanka and holidays to Sri Lanka, but I thought we'd look at the diversity Sri Lanka offers as a destination in a nutshell, we don't have a lot of time. I wish I had 45 minutes because I could have spent about 45 to an hour telling you about Sri Lanka. But let's just look at the diversity of the island. So we are in the southern tip of the Indian Ocean. We are an island nation that's sovereign. At the same time, we have a written history of over 2,500 years, a written history of over 2,500 years. So when it comes to history, archaeology, ancient civilizations, religion, culture, arts, and music, Sri Lanka has an abundance of all of that, right? As a little destination, it has an abundance of all of that, right? And we have UNESCO World Heritage Sites of fantastic places and ancient kingdoms that absolutely revolutionized the ancient world when it came to irrigation and construction and architecture and things like that. That's on the part of our history and architecture and culture. On the side of biodiversity, you can see in this map of Sri Lanka pictures of animals all over the place. We have what we call the big five. Just like Africa, we have the big five. One is the blue whale, the other is the Sri Lankan elephant, endemic to the country, the Sri Lankan leopard, endemic to the country, the sloth bear, and the samba deer. This is our big five in Sri Lanka. And around the country, we have some amazing wildlife opportunities and destinations. But what a lot of people still don't know fully well is that Sri Lanka is probably the best destination in the world to see blue whales, which is the largest mammal or the largest animal to have ever lived. Right? Sri Lanka has its own pod of blue whales that only stay within its waters. And Sri Lanka has on record the largest pod or largest grouping of blue whales in the world. So we have an amazing destination that offers such an destination. It's not just blue whales, it's orcas, so that's killer whales, sperm whales, Baides whales, many types of dolphins. Throughout the course of the year, you can go out to sea and see dolphins and whales at some point in the island. Right? In the south in Mirissa, or in the east in Trincomalee, or near Kalpitia and Mannar. Right? That's outside Sri Lanka, just outside Sri Lanka's landmass in Sri Lanka's waters. Then in Sri Lanka itself, we have some amazing wildlife and national parks in Velpattu, in Minneri, and things like that. For example, the Sri Lankan elephant, which is endemic to Sri Lanka, there is a migration of elephants called the Minneria gathering, which is known by Animal Planet as the 6th great animal spectacle in the world. So we have some fantastic opportunities when it comes to large, big game, big cats, and also when it comes to elephants and things like that, right? Not just that. When you look at the Eurasian and African bird migration path, Sri Lanka is one of the last land masses for migratory birds to end off in, because the next landmass after Sri Lanka is Australia, which is too far for them to travel to. So you have a huge influx of migratory birds from Eurasia and also parts from Africa coming in and flocking the northwestern coast or regions of Sri Lanka, and also settling down near Yala as the last bedding point in their migration path, and then they head out from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka has an enormous wealth of wildlife and potential for wildlife. In terms of, so that's about biodiversity, right? In terms of geographical diversity, Sri Lanka is very unique because we have some very dry parts, some almost desert-like arid areas in the northern parts and the east as well. But we also have we have rainforests, and you can go from 31, 33 degree heat, like we're experiencing right now in Colombo, 33 degrees or 35 degrees right now in Colombo. You can go from that temperature of heat to a cold climate, a cool climate of 15 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees within a span of 4.5 to 5 hours, right? If you are taking a flight, that's 45 minutes from 35 degrees to 5 degrees or 10 degrees. At night, it goes down to about 5 degrees sometimes in parts of Norelia, right? So that is the kind of geographical diversity you have. Because in most other countries, you have to travel days on end to go from warm weather to cold weather. And here we have that opportunity in terms of our geographical diversity. We know that the Germans love their tea. And let me assure you, Sri Lanka has some of the purest and best tea, as you know, called Ceylon tea, which is born and bred in Sri Lanka itself, right? So these cups of tea are made mainly in the Central Highlands, and Ceylon tea is the absolute gold standard when it comes to tea. Dilanke, my colleague who will take on from here, is an avid tea drinker, and he knows tea like like it was his second child. When you also look at diversity and opportunity for travelers who like their culture, we looked at wildlife, we looked at all of these different things. Sri Lanka is also a great place for those who love to be active, the adrenaline junkies. So those people who want to do rafting, we have rafting. For you, if you want to do kite surfing in an international kite surfing destination, we have Mana and Kalpitia for kite surfing. If you love surfing, we have Arugambe and the southern coast for surfing. If you want canyoning, trekking, hiking, the whole works, go-karting if you want, or fishing, all of that is available in Sri Lanka, and it has so much potential for such a variety of clients and offers so much from its history, culture, and all of these things. But something also unique to Sri Lanka is that we are in a small country, we are a multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and a multicultural society. So I'm going to use this example using a crab curry. The crab curry you have in Negombo, just here near the airport, will be very different because it's a predominant Roman Catholic community. So the style is a little bit different from the crab curry you will have in Jaffna, which is a northern Tamil community. Then you go to the East Coast, and the recipes are a little different for your crab curry there because it has such a Middle Eastern influence, owing to the fact that there are a lot of Muslims on the East Coast. If you go south, which is a predominantly Sinhala Buddhist region, again, your spices, your ingredients, and your crab curry is going to be different. And when you go Central Hills, again, you have a very different take, or a slightly different take when it comes to the cuisine and your crab curry. So using the crab curry, I just wanted to show you that Sri Lanka's diversity and people, wherever you go, you are going to see something different all the time, more often than not. And that's about the diversity. And we also have some fantastic arak, which is sourced locally. So our spirit sauce are pretty good as well. And then apart from that, we have some fantastic beaches along this coastline. To talk about beaches, I'll have to do another 30 minutes because every beach is different. So in Sri Lanka, a beach is not correct because every beach is unique. Every beach has something different to offer. And we could do that conversation for a beach holiday later on. So that's a bit about Sri Lanka, and just to talk to you about how rich a destination it is. Not just to focus on what we really wanted to do is to capture our story as an organization. We've been here for over 20 years. We've done some fantastic things in that 20 years. And we came together as a merger of two very good tailor-made and luxury travel offering to companies called Red Dot Tours in Sri Lanka in style. And Miguel, most of you might know him, is a huge part of the success of TFG because Miguel is very well known in the luxury circles. He's Sri Lanka's Condé Nast travel expert for 2021. He's also the only Sri Lankan expert on the Wendy Perrin Wow Most Trusted Travel Expert. So Miguel is an absolute gem for TFG and for the luxury travel industry. He's very well known and he's very much part. He's our Chief Experiences Officer. Basically, he's there to create new experiences for you and your clients and just give an amazing experience. To just talk about how we are structured as an organization, we have Harsha, who is our Chief Operations Officer, overlooking the different teams that are here. So I have pictures of Dilanke, Chamith, myself, and a few other consultants in our sales team. Our sales team, we have a very specialized function and a way we operate. Our sales team is completely dedicated to you. We are only focused on creating, designing, and giving ideas and sharing ideas and making sure that you and your customer is given full priority. We are not distracted by doing operations work or finance work. We're completely focused on designers who give you guys priority at all times. Dilanke, who will speak to you next, who was introduced at the start, heads what we call the product development arm. Yes, we actually build and create our own experiences in-house. Some of the experiences we've created, nobody else has done. We started what you call the experiential travel movement in Sri Lanka, bringing hosts in, specialists in to do experiences. Dilanke and the team, and Miguel and the team have created over 60 beautiful, fantastic experiences around the country, and that is only accessible with TFG. We also have a specialized marketing and content team headed by Jennifer. So this team, if you want images, if you want descriptions, if you want help with content and things like that, media work, we have a team dedicated with that kind of support. When it comes to operations and customer care, we have another specialized team headed by Kosala. So when I say customer care, I'm talking about a 24-hour, 7 days a week team that's on the ground, always there for your client who is on the ground. They will always send you updates saying, you know what, they just went from Kandy to Norelia and they're having a fantastic time. So we have a dedicated team looking at all the allocations for guides, looking after our clients on the ground, and we too are involved, but there is a team specializing in this function. And just like that, we also have a specialist property relationship and rate negotiation team that's dedicated to make sure we get the best deals in the market, because we are probably one of the best luxury DMC operators in the country. And here are a few shots of the team, as Isaiah mentioned. So it's a very specialized approach. And our 20-year journey has taken us places. It has brought us to some, we have had some highs, we have had some lows, but we've had some greater highs, because over these 20 years, we've been affiliated with some of the best travel networks, TravelerMade, Pio, Virtuoso, and all of that. But more specifically, our commitment to responsible travel has been a really important part and an evolution in our journey as a company. We are a GSTC member, we are a Travel Life partner, and we are committed to being responsible and sustainable as we travel, right? So I'm going to touch on what I mean by being a responsible travel or DMC. One is the fact that we offset all our carbon emissions. So anybody who travels with TFG travels carbon neutral. Why? Is because we offset our carbon emissions through a mangrove reforestation project in the northwest of the island. We work with the local community there and do some fantastic work. At the same time, we have a no plastic policy. So every traveler that travels with us, we give them a bottle, a water bottle, a reusable water bottle that they can even take back home. And we have a refilling station in our vehicles and at our partner hotels, just to make sure that we are sustainable and responsible, and our footprint is down to zero, right? And as a result of that, your clients will also feel a lot more secure, a lot more happier and more rewarded, because they will travel with a positive impact to the local communities. Now, when it comes to responsible and sustainability and responsible travel, it is not just when it comes to those factors. We also make sure, and Dilanke might touch on this as well, but even in our experiences, even in our 60+ experiences, we have a huge part where we focus on sustainability and responsible travel. So we make sure that whoever we're working with always benefits the local community. And here's a shot of Miguel and the team who were there end of last year, doing our mangrove reforestation project to offset our carbon emissions. Again, we work with the local communities, and it's a fantastic opportunity for us to engage as an industry, engage as a DMC and as your travel partner. Here's a shot of another venture we have, another collaboration we have with a skills development school in the tea countries, in Hatton and Norelia. We signed an MOU with this school. This school does a fantastic job. The tea plantations and the workers there are quite an impoverished community, and there were a lot of struggles. And this school gives an opportunity for their children, the children of the tea planters, the tea estate workers, an opportunity to receive an education, to receive employment, and also build ethnic cohesion. Right? So TFG is working with them, not just funding them and just sending money across. We're actually we're also waiting to launch some workshops for these kids who want to join the travel industry. We were supposed to do our first workshop last November, but unfortunately, because of COVID, Miguel and all of us had to cancel that plan. But we were actually going to Hatton, to our first center, to train the kids, to give them a glimpse of what the travel industry is all about, to give them a chance, a better future, and a better opportunity. We also have an experience built where our travelers could actually visit the center and see the amazing work that is done here. This is a great initiative, and we're very much with the local communities here. And I'd like to pause at this point and hand it over to my colleague Dilanke from here, because like I said, this is a moment where we've focused so much on responsible travel, being unique, being diverse. Like I said, we started the transformation, the experiential travel movement in Sri Lanka. Everyone wanted to get on board, and they also started using hosts. We moved to the next level of transformational travel, and Dilanke, my colleague, will touch on the experiences that TFG, in-house built experiences TFG does. Over to you, Dilanke, and thank you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Samantha. That was really great. Okay, thank you for that intro, and gets me right on to where I want to present. If you just bear with me, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, hi everyone. I am Dilanke, and I develop travel experiences for TFG. As you guys might have heard from Mevanta, travel experiences are a huge part of each of the trips that we do, and I'm going to take you through some of them and our unique travel experiences, what they're about, what they mean to our travelers, and a little bit about the hosts who conduct them. This is like a brief overlook of our experiences to give you a flavor of what they're about. So for us, a travel experience is about enabling our travelers to connect with the people and culture of Sri Lanka. That means we find the most interesting elements of our culture, people, nature, and showcase it to our clients. As Mevanta mentioned, we have a diverse culture, topography. This means we have really beautiful temples, interesting food, fascinating traditions, and stunning landscape and wildlife, right? We showcase them through our travel experiences. We develop travel experiences to provide the best authentic experience of Sri Lanka. We want our travelers engaged in them with something unique that gives them moments and memories to remember Sri Lanka by. We want our travelers to have a strong emotion towards Sri Lanka through our experiences. And there are various kinds of experiences in various parts of the island, right? Some of these experiences let you meet interesting people in Sri Lanka. Some of them take you through beautiful treks, which take you onto mountains and waterfalls. Some of them, might let you learn a traditional art like mask making or traditional drumming. Some of them might be about visiting an ancient historical or religious monument. Some let you know more about interesting crops like cinnamon or tea that sort of woven into our history and culture. And some of them let you learn a new skill like surfing or lace making. Some of them let you have a deep understanding of our history, culture, and religion. And some of them let you make and taste some of our beautiful food. Some of them also, as Mevanta mentioned, helps you to sort of give back to disadvantaged communities and the environment. Almost all of our experiences are hosted by special personalities, and they're experts at what they do. I'll give you a couple of examples, right? We have a fourth generation puppeteer. We have historians. We have a historian whose photographs the Civil War. And we have a third generation resident of the UNESCO Gold Fort, who you'll hear from in a bit. We've got tea planters, cinnamon planters, retired chefs, families who cook their local cuisine. We have artists, professional trekking guides, adventure guides, and locals from different destinations who are proud to showcase their city. So with these interesting hosts, we've curated over 60, now closing on to 70 travel experiences in various parts of Sri Lanka. So that's a brief overview of our experiences. If you'd like to know more about them, we are very happy to let you know more about them and sort of recommend experiences to even particular itineraries, and get in touch with us and we'll help you do that, right? Next part of what I'm about to showcase to you guys is Intrepid Journeys. And this is our latest unique journeys. And these are probably the most unique things your travelers could do when they're in Sri Lanka. Our goal is to take our travelers to some of the most special places that they may not be able to make on their own when they travel. We aim to provide our travelers a real transformative experience by getting them to be adventurous, by taking them completely away from the tourist trail. And when I say we're taking them completely away from the tourist trail, we really mean it, right? This is not just a term that we're using, but when our travelers go on these journeys, they're not going to come across any tourists at all. And sometimes some of these journeys take them to some of the really special remote areas of Sri Lanka, where it's a bit difficult to get to on your own. These journeys are around 2 to 4 nights. So short journeys that can be included in a regular Sri Lanka itinerary, right? So you can include an Intrepid journey just in the middle of your regular Sri Lanka itinerary. These journeys focus more on the transformative experience, right? And more than the comfort level of that short journey. So we recommend these journeys for more adventurous travelers who want to do something truly unique in Sri Lanka. These journeys will also help our travelers to reconnect with themselves and reconnect with nature, because you're so far in nature, or you're in a very special place, or you're doing something really unique. It gives you time to sort of reflect and connect with nature. Now, I'd like to show you one of these journeys so that you'll have a better idea of how these journeys provide a transformative experience for travelers. The one I'm going to talk to you about is called a journey of discovery. This journey takes you completely off the grid into the heart of the Knuckles mountain range. It's called the Knuckles mountain range because the peaks of the mountain range looks like a clenched fist. So it would look like this when you look from a distance. And this large forest area, there's a large forest area that covers the Knuckles mountain range. It's got lots of interesting flora and fauna. And this range is also in a protected, UNESCO protected region. The first day of this journey, we will travel to a remote village in the Knuckles forest. And we will stay at a basic local house with the locals there, have their food, and get to know their lifestyle and their stories. On this day, we'll also explore the village, right? So in these villages, it's a lot of paddy and other subsistence agriculture that takes place, and that's their main livelihood. It is really interesting and beautiful to see, right? So we get to know a little bit about how they grow their crops and different kinds of plantations that they've got going on. And then after that, we'll take a dip in the local stream, like the villagers. And this is the stream that you can take a dip in. It's actually this part, I have to mention this part, this journey is in the Central Highlands where it's a little cold. So this water is going to be cold, but obviously not as cold as in Europe. Then the next day, we trek 5 kilometers deep into the jungle and stay at an abandoned village, right? This, what you're seeing here is the extent of this forest, right? It's forests and mountains as, really as far as your eye could see. This is also an image of the mountain range. So this village was abandoned because elephants started to consume the crops these villages planted. So in these villages, as I said, it's, their main livelihood is agriculture. And when they started, harvesting different crops, elephants started coming into this village. So they abandoned this village completely. So what you have right now are little houses like this, maybe 5 of them in a nice area, right? So when you're here, you're really in a jungle. There is no electricity, there is no phone reception. You're completely cut off from the rest of the world. All around you is just mountains and forests. It's really quiet, right? And the only sounds you hear are the sounds of the wind and maybe a bird call here and there. So it's a perfect place for you to sort of slow down and reflect and then connect with nature. If you're up for it to be a bit more active in the afternoon, we can go on a trek and then have a dip in another stream nearby. In the evening, we will sit by a bonfire and share our stories with the local host who's going to accompany us on this journey. The next morning, we recommend waking up a little early to see the sunrise over the mountain range. And this is just before the sunrise. You're just seeing the moon there. And after seeing the sunrise, we trek back to the village and then go on to the next destination on the itinerary. Right? That's all the sunrise that you see over the mountain valleys. So guys, that's one Intrepid journey. There's a few more that are really interesting. They focus on handmade teas, really cool abseiling adventures, living in a local village, canoeing through Sri Lanka's longest river, and trekking to the birthplace of tea. Get in touch with us if you want to know more about them, and we'll be very happy to tell you more. And because there's a lot more that I could go on and tell you more about these different journeys, and even the journey that I just showed you. So now I'd like to introduce Chirath De Silva, who is our fabulous host in Galle, and he does some really interesting experiences in the UNESCO Galle Fort, and he's going to give you an intro into his city and also the experiences that he does. So Chirath, over to you. Yeah, thank you.
Chirath, you might turn on.
Chirath, you're on mute.
Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Chirath De Silva from Galle Fort, the World Heritage Site. So I'm the third generation resident of this Galle Fort, which my grandfather came to this beautiful city somewhere in 1920, and then he started a small living, and then he started a small cafe to serve the locals. And then we have that cafe in this fort, and we are the oldest cafe in the Galle Fort. And I'm very happy that I can take you all through this to show around my beautiful city, because last 40 years I have been living in this 45 years I have been living this in beautiful city, and I have grown up and I have gone through the various changes, and I have seen what has happened. So it's my pleasure to, and it's my very happy to take you all through this this journey. So my tour is kind of a small walking tour throughout the cobble streets on this Galle Fort, with the history and the architecture, and a lot of local neighborhood sharing their experience. It's kind of a very relaxing walk in the morning and in the evening. So the Galle is in the southern part of the country, and influenced by 3 European nations. In first, Portuguese came here 1505. Then after 150 years, Dutch came here. Actually, our king invited Dutch. And then the British took over, and it's almost like 450 years we have here. The beauty of this part of the country is has the 3 European nations creation in the southern or the Asia. It is a very rare piece of monument. On the other hand, this is a living monument. There are 275 families live here, and also there are about 1,000 people living, and also schools, the restaurants. There are interesting 4 churches, one Reformed church, one Anglican church, one Methodist church, and one Catholic church, also a Buddhist temple and a Muslim mosque. So as Mevanta and Dilanke was experiencing, the diversity is very can experience here that people are living together, and also this with harmony. It's kind of a classic example of a friendship in a small, tiny land in the coastal belt. So I'd like to share a little bit about the background, what I'm saying. This is the coastal belt, and this is the Bay of Galle, and this is the place where the Portuguese first landed to Sri Lanka. So when they landed to Sri Lanka first, this part of the world, they actually heard a sound of a rooster. which is very common in their country, and they call this in their language galu. So galu is a Portuguese, galu is the Portuguese name for the rooster, and they start calling this place as galu. So then later on, the British couldn't pronounce this properly, and they call this as gaul. So obviously it has happened in anywhere, like Colombo, it was Colombo, they call it Colombo, and Delhi, Bombay, all these things were they call for their pronunciation conveniences. So the gaul now is the most famous thing is the Rooster Story. So that's why I'm wearing a t-shirt with a rooster, but I know this is not a gaul rooster, this is the French rooster, which is the French Football Federation t-shirt, but just to show the rooster, I just wear this t-shirt today. But the gaul, now we have the logo of rooster. So this city, I will be taking through a walking tours, and also I'm taking a classic car tour with the auto, the Deutsche Auto, which is, you can see it's parked over there. This is a Cabriolo, Kefa Cabriolo. So this is another experience that I can share in this beautiful city. You can go through the cobble streets, tiny streets, and also you can go a little bit out to the city and go to the Dutch vegetable market and Dutch fruit market. So this is another experience that I can do it here. And also this became one of the best tourist destination throughout the year because of this nice weather. And also this is a World UNESCO Heritage Site, and many people love this place because of the living monument. This is a living monument and living and breathing monument. So many people can experience school girls and boys walking in the morning with white uniforms, feels like the British period, and also the office crowd, the people, when you are walking on the streets, still the people are popping from their windows, or they are just sitting on their verandas, having a cup of tea. So it's like it's not a monument, but this is a living monument. So I'm very happy to take you all this in this street and the tour for the when it coming. So this has become a very very famous experience among all kind of travelers. There's no segment for this. Everybody loves this Gaul Fort Rampart, breeze walk, felt very nice. So thank you so much for joining me and listening to me. And Dankeschön aus Wiedersehen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chirat. That was amazing. Thank you so much for showing us around that beautiful place. All right, so I think we're finished. So let's go through all the questions that we are having received already. So let me just quickly have a look. All right, so there's a question of the entry regulations and everything. Yes, so you will send an email to all of you tomorrow as a follow-up email where you will receive all the information on the travel guidelines and what is important for the clients to know, of course. So there was another question regarding the vaccinations, if all vaccinations of all enterprises are accepted or if there are just special ones accepted from Sri Lanka. So Chamith also answered already. So any vaccination would be fine. So there is no regulation in case of the enterprise that is producing it. So there is no regulation on that. All right, for the sites within the bubble, do you have to pre-book a slot on the spot? Chamith? would you like to answer that question, please?
Actually, there are some sites which has a certain specific time where they can visit. That's only, I think, the Candy Temple. Other than that, actually, whatever has to be pre-booked, we are doing on behalf of the client, so the client doesn't have to worry about it. Actually, so we are doing the pre-booking. It's not a pre-booking, yeah, something like we are just mentioning them that this will be the time which the client will be visiting it. Other than that, the Candy Temple has a specific time where the clients can go and see it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, the guests anyway do like a round trip. Everything is kind of pre-booked within the itinerary, so this shouldn't be any issue then. Exactly. All right. So there was another question. If you're staying in a level 1 secure hotel, can you still go to the beach in front of the hotel? Chamith, would you like to give us an answer on that?
So basically, most of the beach hotels has a confined area, a protected area by the hotel, where the local community and the outsiders cannot come in. So within that allowed space, the clients can go and enjoy the beach, basically. So most of the beach hotels has it. If they have a beach in front, yes, definitely they can go and enjoy the beach.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. There was another question for special recommendation for a hotel. Chamith, you already answered on that, so that is fine. Yeah, I think question-wise, that should be it. Is there any further questions from you? Anything you would like to know from our team, from TFG? Anything on our special Intrepid Journeys, which are very, very special because it's specially designed in-house from TFG. And I can definitely agree that it's amazing experiences, and also the term luxury gets a really different meaning with the experiences you can get with TFG.
Yeah, just Katharina, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Re-emphasize what you just said when it came to Intrepid Journeys.
Nobody
else in the market offers it because it is all built in-house.
Exactly.
So when you're going to travel with us and when you're going to experience that with us, nobody else has access to it. So you're going to experience something special. And these are designed on trails that are less traveled. In fact, probably not traveled at all. Dilanke can clarify that. So it's just you, nature, the people in the local community, and amazing air quality, and an amazing local experience. So just to emphasize the fact that nobody else has it, nobody in Sri Lanka. It's just us. These are all designed by us.
Yeah, that's completely correct. Obviously when you're in those journeys, it's just you, whoever you're traveling with and the local hosts you're with. And, it's quite unique. There's one I said on one journey on hand rolled, it's focusing on hand rolled teas. So it's at an estate that produces Sri Lanka's best quality teas. And you're staying in this farm, getting to know how they produce their high quality teas, and getting to know about the community in that area and other different kind of crops that they grow. You can go on for treks in that area, and that's a more family-friendly one. And there is like more super adventurous ones where you are abseiling down, you're abseiling down a massive waterfall, and then you're canyoning down a river, right? So canyoning is where you get from a higher point of a river and then you come down, right? So either you can jump into a pond, or you can zip line, or you can slide and abseil, right? So it's these different techniques that you do on this canyoning journey. So it's pretty unique, right? Because there's not going to be anyone around you when you do this in these really beautiful waterfalls and rainforests in Sri Lanka. So as Mevanta mentioned, it's completely unique, and it's something that we've started developing, and more products like that will be added. And obviously, there's more that we've not spoken about, but we are really excited about it, and we think a lot of travelers who are going to go on them will also have a really fabulous time.
Thank you, Dilanke. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think most important to mention is really that TFG is creating experiences really tailor-made for each of the clients. So of course, we are also offering like standard tours through Sri Lanka. That's not a problem at all, but it's really, the focus is really on the personal experience for the guests. So for the team of TFG, it's very important to get to know your clients, what they really want, what they are into, if they're interested in architecture or tea or culture, animals, whatever it is. Yeah, as soon as you have a request for Sri Lanka, get us as much information about the client as possible so that we can really tailor-make the best experience for these clients. So yeah, this is I think the most important part. So which airlines are currently flying from Germany to Sri Lanka? It's Sri Lankan Airlines at the moment that is flying from Germany, and also Edelweiss from Switzerland.
Not yet.
Not yet,
from winter onwards again. Yeah. But Sri Lankan is flying twice from Frankfurt per week, plus all the UAE carriers like Qatar, Emirates, Etihad. They are flying non-stop, not non-stop, but they have regular flights to Sri Lanka. Yeah. So Sri Lankan is certainly at the moment a very good option to go non-stop. And as Katharina said, so we also talked to Edelweiss to see where they are at, because they were supposed to fly again from last November or October onwards, and that's still in the plans, but not for this summer. Whereas Sri Lanka is a summer destination, so you can travel year round. On the East Coast, you know, beach stays are perfect during the summer months. So it is also an option for an exotic summer destination this year, where we still don't know what's happening in Europe, where you can travel in Europe. So Sri Lanka is open, and there are beautiful hotels on the East Coast for an extended beach stay.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Uli. All right. I would say if there's no further questions, yeah, let's keep it like that. Thanks a lot for all of you joining today. It was great. Thanks to the TFG team, to all of you. Thank you also, Chirag, for this amazing, for your amazing story at Galiford. It was really amazing. And yeah, hope to see you soon all again. And yeah, hope to welcome all of your guests in Sri Lanka soon. Thank you so much.
If you want to travel to Sri Lanka, I mean, it's also the time now, you know, to experience the destination and be able to tell your clients how traveling is like. So let us know. We are more than happy to put together a nice itinerary for you, to support you with your personal trip. Yeah, let us know. We are all here. We're a big team, so we look forward to welcoming you to our beautiful island.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, guys. Have a nice afternoon. Bye.
Straight to see you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.